Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another Wednesday hobby stream. Your host John Furhelm with In Your Phase Media. This week we're going to continue the build of the Skorpekh Lord. We're adding some LED lights. As a reminder, last week we dove right in and drilled out all the wire pathways. This week we're going to take out the Dremel tool and we're going to hollow out the inside of the model, make some room for the lights to shine out. Depending on how long that takes us to do, we might actually start getting some of the initial wiring put in place as well. So we'll see how far we get on this very interesting build. Once again, unlike those Primaris Outriders that we did on a previous episode. There we go. Uh, where we actually had a plan ahead of time that we were executing. Now with these Skorpekh Destroyer Lords, we are just going to kind of freeform the entire thing. So let's go ahead and get everything ready real quick. First off, we'll get that timer reset. Okay, there it is. Set to 1 hour. I've been having some fun. I am going to try and speed build the rest of this Skorpekh Destroyer Lord. I do have my Silent King, and I'm anxious to get started on that build. Got a lot of interesting ideas and a lot of opportunities to light stuff up on that guy. Also, in the meantime, I've started building my Outrider ATVs. I initially have not put any lights on these guys, but the bottom of the model is pretty hollow. So it'll be real easy to, at the very least, for me to add some ground effects later if I decide to light up more of that army. So that's what's going up on that side. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get our timer started. There it is, and we'll get right in. Okay, let me switch over to the desk cam. Okay, well, if you remember last week, we did drill out the leg here, so you can see where we've drilled the wire pathways through this leg. And we did a little trimming on this piece. More interestingly, we went ahead and got our wire channels in place for this claw. And if you remember, we're going to put two light effects in the claw. We're going to do a flickering red and a flickering blue. Should create kind of a power fist effect. We have our gun, and I was debating between a flashing or a flickering effect on the gun. So we're going to try out both and see which looks more interesting when we get to that point. And finally, we've got, of course, the heart and the head. And again, I think I'm going to end up just with the chest and the eyes all breathing together. So the eyes will fade along with the chest, kind of like his whole body is pulsing with energy. I think that's going to be the go-to on that one. Anyway, so let's see if we can make all of this happen. Now, this week, we're going to be using the Dremel tool, and I'm pretty sure when I turn it on, that as long as I'm not talking, the system is going to ignore the sound from the Dremel tool, much like it did the hand drill or hand driver unit, the DeWalt driver from before. So you may have noticed that on previous episodes. If I'm not talking, the system basically is able to silence out the power tool noise. But once I start talking, it's going to be in the background. So when I start carving into this bad boy, I might talk a little less just to keep the noise down. Now, just so you see what I'm working with. Let's get that focus. There we go. Just using a little. Come on, you can do it. Get that real close zoom up in there. Fighting against it. If anything, that's what I want to replace is a camera that has a better focus ability. There we go. Like these ones are obviously capable of focusing in. It's just a matter of actually getting them to focus in. And you see it. You see it trying. Come on. Anyways, hopefully that's enough for you to see what's going on with that tip. Anyways, what I have there is about a 1.5 millimeter ball tip, and we're going to use that to just hollow out some of these inside pieces. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do that. Now, I don't need to actually carve all that piece off, so I think I might as well get in with the clippers first and start to a little wider reach. Get in with the GW clippers. There we go. Nice. Came right out. Get most of that plastic out with the clippers. That's good enough. And I don't know if I need that piece there. I'm going to remove that pip. Let's start carving. Okay, so what we're going to try and do is not take out those belly pieces. It's interesting that they're molded on both sides, right? Let's switch to a larger desktop. Just make it a little easier to see what's going on. So, anyways, we can see that inside of there, weird how it deals with some angles better. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we can see that we have the inside little guts, cables, what have you. We don't really want to remove those too much, but a little bit at the side. We do want to hollow out the rib area. And if possible, it might be nice to thin out a little bit around this Necron symbol, but we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and see how we can get in there. Hopefully I don't carve my hand up too badly as I do this. Just going to remove the plastic from the inside here. Got to kind of shave it away. Almost tempted to use a larger tool, but start getting greedy. See what I'm doing there? Maybe I'll keep that in the center. Again, just removing that plastic from the inside here. I have my Dremel set to the slowest speed. Keeps the chips from flicking quite as far, if nothing else. I normally actually do this kind of work outside. I was tempted to actually go outside and do this, just like video myself outside, and then just maybe play that video back during the live stream just to keep all these chips outside. But I decided I'll just do them in here. And just kind of clean up afterwards is what it is. Okay, so not really getting thin yet, so we'll just keep on removing that material. Start seeing some white stress on the inside, so it's like right there. Question is how far before we break through. Just kind of cut it nice and easy. Carve my hand up too much in there. Right in there. If you appreciate that the extra challenge of trying to hold this in a way that the camera gets to look at what I'm doing. Yikes, see? Right there, boom. A loss of control. Keep that focus. And not quite breaking through. Maybe starting to see some of the residuals. Let's kind of thin this down a little. Basically like freehand 3D milling with a ball end mill. Trying to stay on the conventional cut, which means I'm going into the teeth as much as possible. So we're getting pretty good, getting that nice chest hollowed out there. Let's see here. Not breaking through quite yet, so I got a little more material to remove. Again, just looking to see when we start getting some white stress, showing that we're getting thin on the plastic in there. I think we're coming close. Yeah, we'll get through there. We will. There's enough depth where we should have some sort of margin. Kind of go the opposite direction for a minute here. And again, just not sure what the sound is like for you guys in the past when I've done the drill. If I talk, you could hear all the tool noise. When I wasn't talking, the system seemed to filter that out pretty well. Okay, starting to see a little bit of stress inside of there, so that's good. That means we're starting to get through. Shave all that plastic down. And it's a one-off build, so got to get it right the first time and only time, right? Okay, let's see how that's looking. I'm going to stop the Dremel for just a second. Kind of, man, the only thing about the Dremel is you got this super fine, gritty plastic. Ugh, it's awful. But I'm going to do a little sneaky trick here, and I'm going to get my chapter master on a bike and put his light back there. So it looks like we've thinned out. Can you see that? Let me turn off this light for a second. So it's a little darker now. Okay, so I put that headlight behind the chest and see where it's starting to thin up. So we're getting thin over here. You can see that little bit of a glow coming through the chest. And we've gotten thin on the belly, but not on the side of the ribs over there. Okay, so our light back on. Okay, so we got to stay away from this belly area. Like right there is where it was getting thin on us. That's probably about that line or so. Create some scratches. So I'm going to try and not remove those scratches, which means I'm not going to go into the thinning of this area anymore. But from there, it's like the center of the chest is about here. And the other side, again, I'm just eyeballing this. Is maybe right there. Just getting a sense for where everything is. Okay, so I think that's kind of my keep out zone. Let's go for it. Now I'm trying to stay out of that keep out zone that I've just marked off. Back on screen. Sorry about that, folks. Not that watching me Dremel is the most exciting part, but this is a series on what the hell does it take to build an LED lighted model. And so, no shortcuts. You see in real time the real effort, as it were. So that's kind of like right here. Looking where that last rib depression is. There it is. See that? Finally. Okay. Now we got to be super careful. Third rib should be right up here. Starting to see it. A little bit more. Let's see. If I hold it up, you can't quite see what I'm doing, but I'm holding it up to the light. This light right here, my work light. And so it is showing me where it's thin. And yeah, so we're almost through up top here. A little hair more. There it is. You see that? You see the rest on the plastic there as we're about to break through. Okay, there we go. Super careful. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope you're enjoying this series. Kind of hanging out, doing some hobby, if nothing else. Put me on in the background and go for your own LED project. Pretty good. A little more on that top one, though. Good. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this other side thinned out. I'll come back with a knife and actually open those up. Again, the first one, about right there. Like we're starting to get some thinness going on this side as well. You just kind of see the plastic. When it starts turning white from this side, that's when you really know you've taken it thin. And you take it down just a little more in there. I pull it back, I'm just holding it up to my work light real quick so I can see where the thin plastic is. Okay, maybe a little lower into this area. Well, if we have a hobby accident doing this, it's going to be quick and gory. So, a little higher hazard level than when we were carving with the knife and drill. Oh yeah, it's starting to break through. Let's get a little thinner up in here. Slowly removing that plastic. Okay, let's see how thin we're looking. Not real thin in the upper reaches. So this, you can see where the plastic is turning white, but it's not really turning white up in that zone yet. Oops. Let's not carve the cosmetic face of the model. That's, again, this little area. I think I need to just move a section more. Oh, now we're talking. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, that's actually way up in there. So we got to get heavier cut there. This tool does not appreciate heavy cutting. Okay, how's that starting to look? Oh, now we're starting to get some thinness to it. There we go. Got to remove. Oops. Just broke through. Okay. Let's zoom in and turn off the Dremel for a second, show you where we're at. Okay, so we have, get back in there. Where's that screen? There it is. Okay, so we have carved the heck out of it. You can actually see the white light shining through where we've thinned out those ribs pretty far. Didn't quite get through the center as much as I would have liked. Let's go ahead and turn on that chapter master real quick and shine that light from behind. Again, we'll turn that off for a second. You can see the glow is coming nice. We've got a little bit around the guts, definitely coming through the ribs very cleanly, but not a lot coming through in that center. I think I want to thin that center out a bit more. Yeah, let's do that. So let's turn off the chapter master and get that in there. Okay, so let's mark off where we are. If we're here on top, come around. So the upper edge is really kind of like right here. And then the lower edge is about here. So it's kind of that symbol. It's kind of all right in the center top. Let's see about getting some of that material out of there. I'm going to turn the Dremel up just a hair. I'm going to be removing a little heavier material in the center here. Not sure if the system is filtering out that noise. Hopefully it is for you. I have an idea, actually. Kind of a funny idea. I'm going to take got this little teeny drill here. Get a tweezers. Come on. I got this little teeny drill. And I think if we just run it this way through that front center, saying, what? Yeah, but I think it's going to make a little cool pip of light. And it'll also give me a target to carve around. Just kind of spinning that through. Give me a sense of how thick it is, too, in the center there. And I probably could, put this into a tool or a drill or a driver or a chuck or anything, but spin it in with by hand. See if that's starting to show on the inside. Not really. We don't have to go too far with this thing. Again, it would be a quick pop through because I was thinking that the center was already pretty thin. If I'm wrong on that account, let me cheat a little and then just kind of push. See if we get a stress point showing. I think that's pretty thick in the center. That I've drilled in a bunch. Kind of spun up a chip off that one, last one at least. Ah, there we go. And I'm through. Whew. And just when I was about to give up. Okay, so now we've got a little hole going through. And that'll kind of give me a target to thin around. You see what I'm doing there? Sorry. Wouldn't want you to miss out if I go and carve my finger open. Ooh, that's nice. Starting to get a little glow around that side. So we just got to thin it on this other side a bit. Yep, that's enough. Just a little more. And maybe a little higher over here. Just thinning out the back of that Necron symbol now. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Oof. Starting to taste plastic dust. Ugh. Normally, again, I would not be doing this inside, nor would I be doing it without a mask, but the strictures of trying to do live stream have me doing all the not safe stuff. Ugh. Okay, so I've got my carving knife here, right? That's the one with the super sharp, different angled blade, thicker angled blade, right? So we've got, just to remind you how I roll, we got our 3 X-Acto knives. I've got my dull X-Acto knife that I've actually intentionally dulled the blade. It's pretty dull. I do that for most cleanup. I've got my super sharp, large X-Acto blade. Keep that bad boy super sharp. Try to maintain the tip on it for stuff. And then I got this here carving or chopping blade, which we also maintain very, very sharp. And we're going to use this one to open up these ribs. Very thin in there. Just kind of shaving away that excess plastic. Nice. Then we're going to actually fill the chest cavity with some probably hot melt glue. Probably. Have not fully decided. There's some other options. I'm wanting to try something interesting with UV reactive resins. So I might do that again, just being a one-off build. Just gonna figure shit out as I get to it. Now I definitely won't be working with UV resins inside. Yeah, that stuff's gnarly. As long as you're outdoors and well ventilated area, it's not unreasonable. The UV reactive resins smell just like getting your a filling at the dentist. So like when they're doing those resin fillings. Oh yeah, and they use the little UV cure thing. So I'm pretty sure it's very similar resin. They're not exactly the same, but certainly similar properties, maybe different fillers, whatever they do. Okay, well that's pretty nice. We got that rib hollowed out on this side. Kind of clean in the inside edge a little bit. Looks good. Doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, it's not. You can have hot melt glue oozing through here. That's going to be a challenge too. Not get it to push too much through. Okay, let's clear out this other side. Oof, a little thicker. At least on the bottom part there. That probably could have been more thinned out. that up from the inside. See what I'm doing there? Sorry. Like, holler at me. I'm not actually looking at chat too much. We can get a little involved with this build. Sorry for not interacting with you guys as much. Hopefully my chat monkey is able to answer all of your basic questions. Thank you, chat monkey. Ooh, ooh, ee, ah, ooh, ooh, ee, ah, ooh. Excellent. Chat monkey says she will do her best. I mean, he will do his best. Okay, yeah, so a little bit thicker on the inside on both of these ones. Probably could have removed a little more material. And then this is the funny shaped rib. Oh, I think it's supposed to be damaged, maybe? It's leaking. Ooh, I wonder if we can do something interesting to suggest like leaking energies or some similar concept. Let's see what we get in the inside here. Be real careful with this knife. This knife will just go right through your hand. Careful with it. Okay, nice. Out of there. And shaping that, cleaning it up. Open those up. Real low pressure, just letting the knife do the work. That way it goes to the area of least resistance, which tends to be the thinner plastic. Gotta be careful with a sharp knife because they can bite into plastic pretty good. Okay. That's looking pretty clean in there. A little bit on that inner edge. Yep. Just gotta spin the knife around. Those inner ribs nice and clean. And on this side. There we go. Wow. And yep, a couple hairs out here too. That's cleaned off. Nice. Now we're able to open those ribs up real nicely, and that's going to create a great glow effect. But then I was also able to get some of this to thin out. So we'll take the back side of that hole we drilled, clean it up so the light will go through, right? A little cone to funnel a good amount of light out of there. And then right here along the sides, take that out. Yeah, a little bit of rib, gut. Didn't want too much of the gut coming out, but we'll put up with a little bit. Coming down this other side. Also able to get through there. Don't want too much. Don't want too much. Just a little. Kind of from this area. Come on, get out. A little hair. Same on the side. Clean it up. Running that knife backwards worked real well. Clean things out. Okay, I think that cleaned up real nice, actually. Let's just get a little hairs I see from the front. Kind of through this neck area. That out of there. Some burrs. Hairy burrs. Okay, and let's get the old chapter master on a bike light example over here. Turn back on. Let's see what we got rib-wise. Oh, yeah. Now, so we can see that very clearly, right? We got plenty of light shining through. There it is. Got the rib cages. Actually, that blue glow in the chest. Oh, man. I'm going for green, but ooh, that's pretty tight, huh? That's pretty tight. Focus. Camera doesn't want to focus. Nothing. Not never. Oh, there it is. Did you see that for 1 second? 1 second. We had a good focus. And that it cared about. It's trying to focus on the darn edge of the image, right? Background. Okay. Anyway, so that looking pretty good. Okay. So I'm happy with all that. That is most excellent. Okay. So we got this inside hollowed out. Chest came out quite nicely. Clean up there and there. Nice. Okay, now the hard part, as they say. We are going to hollow out this guy's eyes. And I think we need to start with the knife and get some of this chunk away. Not convinced I can pull this off. I have some spare Necron heads if we hose this completely. I'd rather use the standard head, as it were. Nothing worse than a Necron not with no head. Okay. I'm gonna go for some kind of an undead, not thinking joke, and it did not come to mind. Too busy focused on hobby. Okay, so maybe if I carve some of those chunks, oof, right into my finger there. That's what I carve. Get that a little bit open. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see if we can get that in there. See what we can do. I'll get right up in there. See if my darn camera ever decides to focus in on that stuff. You guys have any recommendations on a web style cam that does a little better focus performance? Mind you, I am using Logitech Brios, so if you're going to suggest something from Logitech, I'm already at the best they have to offer. But subtle details like ability to macro focus, not the kind of stuff you usually see in webcam ratings. You know, some people use like GoPro style cameras. I found some overheating issues with those because they do have a battery in them. That's my only real complaint on those. Let's turn that off, see how we're doing. It's a little bit challenging, so we got a little fluff off the side. Get that out of there. Oop. Okay. Let me see if we're even getting any thinness going on. I see no light. When I shine them up to the things, I'm holding it up to the... I don't really get any light coming through. Let me see if I poke his eyes from this side, what we get. I think we need to go a little thinner and kind of push at a lower angle. So I'm going to hollow less of his head out. See about just kind of thinning out right there. Maybe. That might have worked. Okay, let's get the sharp knife. And pushed in here. See, I don't want to cut too much from this side. I guess it's not like it's going to be obvious because there's going to be a stupid light coming out anyways, right? I think I need to thin it more before I try to get that eye out of there. So let's go in and thin that out just a hair more. What are we doing for time? 15 minutes? Yep, just enough. I think we're getting there. Thin this other side down a little too. Getting a little thin on the side of the head here. But I can start to see the impressions of the eye sockets right in the center. I think we're almost through. Let's try again from this side. I think we're almost through. Getting light shining. Well, definitely there's the eyes. Okay, there they are. Right there. I think just a hair more. Let's not jump the gun. Let's just remove a little more from that inside. Okay, I think that's it. Lay this guy down and if we can pop that eye out. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yeah, there it went. Very nice. So hopefully the other side will go just as easy. Yep, almost. A little more effort. I think it's just because the eyes got an odd shape to it due to the scar on this guy's forehead. Okay, so we got the eyes out. Let's clean that dust out of there. And the actual eye. Oof. And there's the other eye. Okay, and from the front. Clean those up. Nice. It'd be nice to get the you see that? Oh yeah, look at that. See there? There we go. Not even in focus, but you can at least see the eye holes on the head. So it would be nice to get something like the nose or what have you, but I think just getting those is going to be good enough. There's going to be a lot of light pumping out of this guy. Okay. Wow. Not too bad. So that's pretty much it for the Dremel work. So set the old Dremel tool to the side, and I wish I could take the time to clean up this mess. There is just literally plastic dust everywhere on my workbench here. What a mess. But let's see how some of these lights are going. Okay, so got here some of the lights that we're going to be utilizing. So let's see, this is a flasher. Really, John? Did you nice. supposed, oh, there they are. Supposed to have a batteries handy. So real quick, we'll see what this one is. So green flash. This is what I picture going into the weapon. So we're going to end up running that inside of there. All right. You see that? Get those holes we drilled. And get that light right inside. Battery pinched. That's not too bad. I think we can get away with that. So we got a flashing light green. And this one, I think it's just a static green. Let's patch that. Yeah, static. So here's the deal. Okay, so this is what I still had not decided. If I take and put as I'm about to do now, I take and put a non-flashing LED and put it on the same circuit as the I don't think so. Okay, so let's try that differently. I'm going to get one of the power packs out. I think it actually acts differently when it's on the power pack. So I just got a battery power pack here. Yeah. That in. Lights. Okay, so now let's take our two lights and we're actually just going to do a quick twist of the positives. Go, bing, bing, bing. 3 different wire weights. I do like the Evans design stuff, but little details like that are a little bit of a pain. It's nice when everything has the same wire weight. Obviously, because of the different attachments and components here, it probably isn't really possible, especially with these Pico LEDs that you end up with these super tiny strands. Okay, so twist that together real quick too. Okay, so I've created my quick circuit. Really? There we go. Just barely. That flash is pretty dim. I'm less than impressed by that. So let's pull this apart a little bit. Okay, so that was option 1, was to put everything on the same circuit like that on one flasher, and it immediately is not working as I would like. So if I take this here, I want to make sure that the actual LED isn't the problem. And we saw it going earlier. I mean, it was pretty bright, right? Yes, that's plenty bright on its own. Okay, so I think we're just going to have to use one of the other flashers. So here is a standard normal flash green Pico. Rest of those away. And, oh, I almost forgot. We have these fiber optics for the gun itself. Now, these are something new for me. This says it's a side glow fiber optic. Oh, I noticed that writing is backwards. That's because I have the camera reversed, basically because of the direction I'm sitting relative to the camera. So let's first fire up our circuit real quick. I'm going to take that. Now, less dissimilarity between the wires. Twist, twist. Solid super splice like you've seen me do before, but it's just a temporary twist. Things going. Now, when we have two different flash circuits, really? That's when the power source isn't the one that pops off. Get that wrapped real quick. That'll hold us for what we need to do here. Okay, so going with two different flashers, we can see that the flashing is out of sync. And that's kind of the effect I'm going for. And then these are supposed to be side glow fiber optics. Yeah. I mean, sure. Let's test it on the old. And yeah, I mean, it does glow a little out the side. Not overly impressed. Instantly not overly impressed. Let's see how that goes through here, though. Now, it's supposed to be 1.5 millimeter. This is actually a really soft tubing. I'm surprised by that. And that seems to be pretty good. So let's clean a little burr I see in there on the inside out. Now, it's going to be a challenge to paint because we're doing the fiber optics. Now, normally I might actually pre-prime something like this component. You know, it's kind of a weird mixture of paint and not paint that you do. But because we're doing an LED tutorial, I'm just going to do the build only and not really worry about the paint. Worst case scenario, I'm coming in by hand and just touching up some of these areas after I've masked them to spray most of it, right? Okay. If I start putting pieces in, it's going to be hard to clean these up. So I kind of have to get them clean as I want them now. And then there's this little area here carved out. Necessarily the best knife for that kind of work. There we go. And this side, we'll clean that up as well. You can see the little bit of burrs. I'm going to sort these cameras out. I tried this week. I switched my two cameras, hoping that this one might give a little better performance. And not really. Kind of weird. This camera, when I plug it in on this system, sees it's capable of 4K, but we're only running at 1080p. It's not like we're pushing the camera. Okay, so let's get those fiber optics. And again, the real trick with fiber optics is to just put them in and cut them long. So let's trim this off. They're really weird. Yeah, look at that. It's an elastic kind of a material. I don't know. I've classically used this more firm fiber optic material, but it's definitely going to transmit light. And we're kind of going for a light pipe effect. So I'm going to trust the process. And we'll just put that in there. I think what we may end up doing is putting something in this end bit, like a glowing bead or something, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to leave both of these long. Right now I have it just barely sticking into the hole in the bottom. Because I can always make it shorter, I'm going to trim it off way out here. Though I probably, of course, not going to leave them hanging out like that. We'll see what we do. I might do like a ball of glue that the fiber optics go into. That could be kind of interesting. Okay, so let's see if we can get that. What do we got? Oh, 16 seconds. Oh. And then I guess we're not going to do that. Let's go ahead and switch back to our face cam. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody, thank you very much for joining me this week on our In Your Phase Hobby Hour Wednesday hobby live stream. Continuing to work on that Skorpekh Lord. Tonight, we did just a whole bunch of carving with the Dremel tool. Was able to hollow out that chest area. There it is. Hollowed out that chest. Up the camera. You can see where we've opened up the rib cage on that thing. And we've also carved up, put in the fiber optics for the gun. And somewhere over here is a face that I hollowed some eyes out on. Hopefully I didn't lose it as I was moving stuff around. Once again, you guys were watching. I was not. So you probably know where I've managed to lose that face to. Oh, well. Looks like I'll be searching around on the ground. And with that, I'm going to go hunt for that lost face that I just spent all that time carving out. I will see all of you next week on In Your Phase Media. Don't forget, let's see, coming up later this week. Oh, I have a very fun Fireheads with Andrew Standiford of Age of Sigmar fame. And let's see, what else? We've got our stat show that came out on Monday. We've got our podcast coming out on Friday, Sunday live stream, Wednesday live hobby night. We are just up in your phase, however you look at it. So again, thank you everybody. We'll catch you all later.